See if it works. I hope it works. Talking to myself right now because it's actually early. I went live early. Yeah, I totally went live early. That's okay. Going live early is not the end of the world. In fact, I'm going to tell Instagram I went live early. I went live early. It's not yet 1 o'clock, but it will be soon. Hey, we got a like while I said it. Hey, welcome to the Facebook Live. And if you're watching a replay, welcome to the replay. Hey, I went live early. It's not yet. All right, I'm going to post that at the Insta because you got to do it all, right? I did not push that to Twitter. Okay, it's now 1 o'clock. Hi, everybody. Hello, Frank. Good to see you. How's it going tonight? I am at my other office. This is Hacienda Hot Springs Inn, which is where we hold the SMFA Escape. And you could probably see from the reflection on the door behind me, the beauty that is out in front of me. Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you. It was so much fun working with you in Berlin. Thank you so much for the awesome Twitter love today. Hope everything's going well for you. So there's this beautiful pool out here with all this beautiful greenery. I mean, like, and I'm in a t-shirt basically, and it's just gorgeous. Oh, I have sounds on telling me that I'm getting people saying hello. I guess that's okay. Those sound, I can't, if I turn off, I guess if I turn off the sounds, this whole setup is a little new for me, so pardon my clunkiness with it all. Hello, thank you, Mama Shar. Good to see you. Aaron is in the house. Hello, Bernard. I hope everybody's having a good night over there in the UK. It was so good to get to visit with y'all just a month ago, a little over a month ago. My gosh, it seems like forever ago and seems like just yesterday. So you can basically see through that reflection the beauty that I'm getting to look at while I'm doing this. And y'all, honestly, Keith and I are talking super seriously about what it would take to buy this place because it's on the market. And it's been on the market before and it never sells, which means there's something that gets found out in the inspection process that's making it not a great investment. So, okay, but if we want to just live here, like if this is our house, maybe it's something we're not too worried about, or it's something that isn't an issue except if you're renting to others. Because there are different zoning laws, and of course that's a thing too. So I don't know, we're gonna start asking some questions because it's beautiful here and I'm feeling more and more and more aligned with being here more and more. Hi Kim, good to see you. Hello Lenka, so glad you could make it. Hi Amanda, beautiful, wonderful. So here's the deal, if you're getting away from family because it's like all too much, I'm glad I could give you an excuse to not have to sit around for more eggnog and storytelling or whatever it is that might be going on. Maybe it's time for the photo in the ugly sweaters. I don't know what it is that might be going on for you today, but if you needed a break, you've got it. Here we are. We're going to do some work on some creative career self-care style, which is perfect for me to be coming from the Hacienda for that. Let's see, Claire says, I hear you, I'm on vacation too, and I just Googled casting directors to LOL, ain't happening. Get that Ninja Castle, right? Oh my God, the Ninja Castle. That's totally what it should be. So Amanda, you say, I've got cash, I'll invest for coaching. One of the things that we actually talked about was if we did something like this and then said, okay, if you want to coach with me, and you want to like just have $1,000 day, come out for the day and you're coaching with me during the day and eating with us and hanging out in the hot tub and the pool and maybe get a massage if you want and then spend the night and then head back the next day. Like that's totally doable. I mean, right? Wouldn't you come out for that? I would come out for that. I mean, whatever, I would live here. So then if you wanted to work in person, you would come here. And we also started talking about like, could we do the SMFA Escape at different tiers? So we could do it more than once a year, that we're able to do, you know, like our beginner self-management for actors class could be hosted here. Obviously that changes the pricing for everything. But then we also thought, well, if we just win the lottery and buy the place because we have lottery money, then we don't care. We don't have to charge anything or whatever. We charge enough for people to know like, hey, this is a real thing. Because I've also learned if you give everything away, then people don't value it. So you have to price it some kind of way. But anyway, that's not what today's topic is about. It's just kind of what's on my mind right now. Courtney says, I need to share, Bonnie, you look absolutely stunning. Your complexion. Thank you, Courtney. Oh my gosh, so sweet of you. I appreciate that. Yes, the lighting here is incredibly flattering. Yes, indeed. However, the mineral water is bringing out all my silver hairs. I am like, Keith went to kiss me on the forehead before he walked back up to our suite, and he's like, you have all the gray hairs. I'm like, I know, this year definitely put my gray hairs on like supersonic speed. But luckily with my coloring, it just looks like highlights. But anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. You're so sweet. So y'all, we're going to talk about upper limit problems. We're going to talk about, I got my little notebook over here, any support that you might need in getting gear for the new year, because I know we have a bunch of new people doing getting gear for the new year for the first time right now. And of course, a ton of y'all having done it every year or somewhere in between, because we started in 2014. So this is the 5th year. And some of you, this is your 5th time. Some of you, it's like your 2nd, 3rd time, whatever. I love the leadership I'm seeing. I love all the work that y'all are doing, taking care of each other, giving good feedback, taking lots of surveys. Yesterday was survey day. Oh my God, survey day is always insane with getting gear for the new year or getting gear on demand. These 11 days are available now year round. And the difference is when we do it together this time of year, it's like intense, because it's a bunch of people all involved up in social media all over the place. There's lots of stuff going on at Instagram, lots of stuff going on at Twitter, and of course, lots of stuff going on in our Facebook group. If you're not already in all of those places, please join us in the SMFA Ninjas Facebook group. Kevin, it's good to see you, sweetheart. How are you, my love? Claire, go deep into my lottery dream that signed up for info about apartments worth $2 million in London. They called me the next day and I had to pretend I was on set to get away. I love it. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's a really good investment, getting like deep into the dream, that you start like asking questions and getting information about stuff. I'm seeing somebody who's coming in, checking in, because it's Christmas almost. And so we've got people who are joining us starting tonight that are going to be here at the Hacienda through like us, we're going to spend Christmas here. We've spent, I think, most of the fall to spring holidays here. The season to be here is October 1st to May 31st, pretty much. June to September, it's like too hot. And the GM was telling me actually that they sometimes, the facilities around here will close when they are on those months, because it is so incredibly hot. And so there's no one that comes and stays, and so they just shut down and do all the maintenance during those months. So we've tried. We came out here in September at one point, and it was like the last weekend of September. We held an SMFA escape one year and just went nope. We thought it was close enough to October that it would be cool, but not so much. Anyway, all that to say, I got distracted. What did I get distracted about? Oh, because somebody came on the property, and so I was just like, who's in here? Who's in my compound? Anyway, all right. And of course, I saw Claire's comment about investing in that lottery winning dream work. I love it. Erin has just pasted in the links to both the Facebook groups. So you can join in there if you're not already a member of the SMFA Ninjas Facebook group. It's like almost 12,000 people. So wow. And then of course, our free 11-day training, you could start anytime. Even if you're like, Bonnie, I see all these people getting gear for the new year and I really want to do it, and I missed out. You didn't miss, because the way we've redone the offering is you can start at any time. So you still just go to bonniegillespie.com/gig. Gig is get in gear. And then when you come over to that page and sign up, the emails will kick in at midnight Pacific. So you're just behind, but it doesn't matter, because some people get these emails or have gotten these emails every year in December and then just hold on to them and make use of them later, because they're like, I cannot take this time of year to work on this stuff. But the information in the emails is still good. It's obviously stood the test of time for years now, and I always refresh the emails and change out links and give you updated information. And so I was just doing that last night, making sure that we're good for days, I think like 6 through 10 or 9 I did last night, because I always want to just like right before I know a bunch of them are going out, let's make sure that everything is like looking its best and all the links work, and that you're getting the most relevant information for where we are now and the trends in the industry. And that's one of my favorite things about staying on top of all of this, because it's a moving target. Like, yes, some of the core principles will always be there, But there's a lot of work that shifts a little bit. And so we have to be responsive to that. And I love all of that. One of the things that happens when I'm working with people who've been at this a little while, though, is I start to notice what's called an upper limit problem creeping in. Upper limit problems, if this is new to you, go buy the Gay Hendricks book, The Big Leap. You've heard me recommending it for almost a decade now. It is a phenomenal book. Getting Gear for the Next Tier covers a lot of the work that we do, or a lot of the work that came from my experiences in working through my own upper limit problems. The Expansive Capacity Mastermind, which you can apply to join, but it's a higher end offering. So if you're new to the world of self-management for actors, I would say maybe that's not the first thing you want to do, because not everybody gets in, and we're looking for the right combination of people on lots of factors, which you'll see when you apply to join. But you may apply to join. Go to expansivecapacity.com. Is built around entirely working on these upper limit problems, because if we're not in a place that we can get out of our own way, there's only so far we can go. And upper limit problems are these things that happen when we start achieving our goals, because we know how to handle the struggle. We know how to handle being at the beginning of our game and pushing and hustling and building relationships and getting the tools in order and making sure our mindset's in the right place. Thank you for sharing the broadcast, y'all. I appreciate that. And one of the things that happens when we get past that struggle and actually start creating some momentum and having success and getting seen and getting cast and getting cast again and getting straight offers and not having to audition in the same kind of way, and then having a team that is beyond our wildest dreams from when we were first hoping we could possibly maybe get somebody to look at us for representation. At each of those new levels, what's the saying? New level, new devil. At each of those new levels, you start to experience, or potentially start to experience, what's called an upper limit problem. And an upper limit problem is something that can just take you out, and you can be sick. You could start running late to things that you know better than to run late for. There's a guy that I actually had to stop following on Instagram, a ninja that I couldn't follow anymore, because I adore him. He's been a series regular for a few years on a show that just finished its last season, just finished shooting its last season. It hasn't aired yet, but so he's going through that whole, now what? I don't have a regular job, and I have for years. And I'm like, you've had regular job for years, series regular money. You should have been putting that money into your production company and what you wanted to create for when this series is over, because no series lasts forever. Every show eventually concludes, and most of them, when we're talking about episodic television, conclude in single-digit number of years. So it's not something that's like shocking that you have to plan for. And in watching his Instagram stories recently, he was doing a lot of drinking and partying, and not the kind that's like, we're celebrating the end of the run of the show, but was like, I'm acting like I'm 20. And he's not. He's a grown-ass man. Not that 20 is not grown, but it's a different kind of grown. As you know, if you're past that, it is a very different type of worldview and responsibility that you may have when you're older and you've been living off series regular money for a few years, and then you start acting like you can get away with behaving like a nutcase. And it wasn't the partying that was making me crazy about him. It was the post that he would make the next day from bed, saying, I can't get out of bed, I'm shooting today. I can't get out of bed, I have an audition today. I can't get, oh my God, remind me to never drink again. I have an agent meeting today. And I'm like, when you know that that next day is a shoot, is an audition, is a meeting, is a networking event, is an opportunity to reinforce your brand in front of the buyers and work toward that next tier you go out and party balls the whole night before and make yourself irresponsibly not your best the following day, upper limit problem. It's not his fault. It's that he hasn't done the work to prep for handling success at that new level. And so he's doing things that look like self-sabotage. And it's, doesn't manifest the same in everybody, which is why we really take a look at the specifics of a lot of things in expansive capacity specifically. But what I wanted to talk about today was the role of self-care in combating upper limit problems. Because even if you're not ready necessarily to work on upper limit problems with me or on your own using Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, or the new book that has come out just last month or the month before, whatever. He had some delays. It was supposed to be out in September, but anyway, doesn't matter. The name of the book is The Joy of Genius. That's his follow-up book to The Big Leap. I recommend them both. The idea behind the upper limit problem being that if you can at least see them happening, you're already in a better place than before. So do you ever see yourself doing things that would be upper limit problems? Do you ever catch yourself in something, or even as we're talking now, if you've not considered it before, that you're like, oh my God, I always do that. Right after some big success, I get sick, or I often will lose my keys when I've got somewhere important that I have to be, and I know better, and I get so frustrated with myself, and now I can start to see that maybe that's an upper limit problem. Does anybody have that kind of experience in their lives that you want to pop in the comments below while I take a sip of water? I think the comments are working. Da, da, da. Amanda's going to watch and replay. Cool, Amanda. See you later. See you in the dojo. While I'm waiting for comments to come in, I'm hoping my internet is still good. I'm a little nervous because I had to move down here to the cafe. The reason I say cafe, by the way, is because cafe. It's not actually the cafe. I mean, this is the pole studio when we take over, by the way. This is the pole studio. We're gonna have a couple Pilates reformers and a couple poles in here, like 15-foot poles, I think. And there's a really great sound system in here and a beautiful hardwood floor. And so that's what that's going to be about when we're in charge, when we've acquired it. But anyway, I call this the cafe because they had moved the internet like yesterday. They had a guy here who took the router that was up toward the suites and moved it somewhere to this end of the property. I have no idea why, because there's nothing at this end of the property that actually needs Wi-Fi. And the people are up there. So anyway, not quite sure what happened, but it's why I'm broadcasting from here. And luckily it's a gorgeous day, so I can. All right. Claire says, yes, I was lucky enough to be a part of a really excellent workshop with some great buyers geared toward training the buyers, directors to communicate with actors. Oh, I love those. I love those. Judith Weston does things like that in LA, and I hear they're phenomenal. I hear from directors, they're phenomenal. There's a director I cast for who takes her class in how to communicate with actors. And she has actors come in and help teach the directors how to speak actor. And it's a phenomenal opportunity for everybody involved. So I love that you're doing that, Claire. Let's see. It was led by an amazing acting coach who had worked extensively with Academy Award nominees. 2 of the directors actually came to the workshop hungover. You're kidding. Oh, that is awful. Because see, that information goes straight in my show Bible. That information is like logged. Because if they're going to shoot themselves in the foot at something like that, how do we know if they're going to be reliable for us when there's actually an opportunity to shoot something for a studio? And if they've been hired by a production company of note and there's so much money involved and we don't know if they're going to have the same casual relationship with that they did with this. See, because in my mind, it's like the higher stakes stuff then has an even greater likelihood that you're going to fall into your upper limit problem trap. Ugh. It doesn't always come in the form of drunk, hungover, partying. It can also be food poisoning. It can also be just you couldn't sleep, like when your body will not let you sleep and you're like, if I don't get at least a couple hours of sleep, I'm going to be impossible to deal with tomorrow, and we just can't get into that sleep state. That's also a part of our brain operating in a way that is trying to prevent us from running into situations that we're not yet ready to receive. And that's hence the upper limit problem, is that we've not done the pre-paving for the next level of success. And if we don't, then we kind of haven't made the place open for that. Went straight to my Bible too. Did it? You put it in your show Bible? Oh my gosh. Former hell yes. Oh gosh, Claire. Oh my goodness. And then Courtney. Start organizing Vegas. Oh my God, yes. Oh, that's a big one. Like reorganizing, like doing all the things. Like your to-do list starts getting checked off, and then you have to rewrite your list, and then you have to rewrite what you rewrote because you messed it up. And then, yes. Oh my God, organizing the bag. That's a good one. Can't find the essentials. Don't want to shift it. Yeah. No. Courtney, don't worry. You're not shifting it into a therapy session. I think these are like seriously important things to start noticing, because Keith is lose keys, lose phone, lose glasses. Like what, and those are the three things he needs to leave the house. No matter where he's going, he needs keys, phone, glasses. And those are the three things that will get lost when he starts moving into an upper limit problem. And the good news is, once you've identified, oh, that's an upper limit problem, you don't then beat yourself up for it happening. You just go, okay, I just lost my keys. I'm having an upper limit problem. What am I actually afraid of? And that's when you can sit with yourself for a moment and hopefully put a hand on your heart, hand on your gut. Take a deep and centering breath with the exhale longer than the inhale. And then go, why I need to lose my stuff? What am I afraid of? And having that conversation with yourself, what am I afraid of, actually allows the part of your brain that knows where your keys are to reopen. But you need to give audience to the fear that's causing the upper limit problem. Let's see, Heather, similar discussion with kids recently about the finish line. Many people slow down before the end rather than putting on the steam. Yeah, that's a definite personality trait, to like leave it never done, because if it's never done, then you didn't fail, but you also didn't succeed. And so that's what Gay Hendricks would call that, living in your zone of excellence, or the zone of average, rather than the zone of genius, which we all have. Worse wealth, probably link a worse health, I'm guessing. Losing sleep, skin becomes a mess, neck gets blocked. Oh my God, yes, that neck crick where you're just like, oh my God, what do I do? And then like people get the frozen back or whatever. That's a big one. Yeah. Sometimes losing sleep is good. I get so many ideas, my brain won't stop. Believe me, I love those nights when I can't sleep, but I'm generating 3 kajillion ideas. But when all I'm doing is beating myself up about the fact that I'm not sleeping, those are the worst. But what I've learned to do is just go, okay, you're not sleeping. If you're not sleeping, get up, because you're sure as shit not sleeping in this bed. So quit pretending like you're gonna. Get up. And then in the getting up, I put my brain in a different place. I get done like maybe a thing, like literally 10 minutes of doing a thing. And then I go, oh my God, I'm so sleepy, I can't keep my eyes open. Yay! Go back to bed then. And so it's all about managing that part of our brain that sometimes gets a little wonky if we're not careful. Oh, good, Lisa. I'm so glad. Yeah, Courtney, you bet. Absolutely. That's why we're here. So let's talk about the role of self-care in those upper limit problems. So I've talked about how to notice if something's coming and to be able to identify, okay, that's just my upper limit problem. Mine is like, one of my main ones is like, I'll have an event and I'll talk, and I then will get a sore throat after. I tend to get mine when the follow through is the next part of the work to do. And so when I feel myself getting that tickle in my throat, I go, yes, I used my voice yesterday. And I don't mean this in like a literal sense, although that is literally true. I say, I used my voice yesterday. I spoke up. I spoke out. I lived my truth. I shared some personal stories. I helped hundreds, if not thousands of people who were a part of whatever this event was. And I touched lives, and that sometimes makes me feel nervous, because who am I to touch lives? And so then I'm going to want to feel small today. So I'm going to do that by feeling hoarse. Okay, that's great. This is my upper limit problem, letting me know that there is still fear to deal with. And then I have the conversation about all of this with myself, which is, I call it the Oprah conversation, because as I've said, if you followed the link in day 1, I think, email of Getting Gear for the New Year, I took you to a piece about perfection and how perfectionists, I've got you covered. It's the Oprah's calling factor. And when I start feeling my voice get prickly, I know that the upper limit problem work I have to do is surrounding feeling that I can step out on a broader stage, that I can help not just thousands and tens of thousands of actors, but I could also help millions of non-actors. I could help all the people of the world who are interested in working on self-care and upper limit problems and living their best lives and being their authentic selves by figuring out what their dreams are and then getting out of their own ways. And that is a terrifying predicament. So it's if Oprah called today, are you ready to say yes? And when I get that little tickle in my throat, I go, nope, today I'm not. Today, if she called, I would be like, oh my God, I'm not ready. And I want to live in a state of readiness for Oprah calls. And I go, yeah, of course, let's do this. Of course, I've been waiting for this call. Let's do it. Let's jam. And so I know what to call myself out on. You now know what to call yourself out on, or maybe you're starting to think about, is it sleep? Is it self-care? Like you're slack on hygiene. There are some people who are like, I know that I'm dealing with an upper limit problem when I don't shave as much as I know I should, or I don't go get a massage because I know I'm supposed to get a massage every whatever amount of time to feel my best self. And I know when I stop doing that, or I don't work out as much, I can tell that I'm playing with an upper limit problem, or if it's the hungover, the drunk, the whatever. Let's see, Nicholas, could you name the title of the book again? Yes, sir, Nick. We've got 2 by Gay Hendricks. One is The Big Leap, and the second one is The Joy of Genius. That one just came out. I recommend both, and in that order. The Big Leap, read that. Take time. It's a tiny little book, but it will take time because there are parts of it that are just going to completely fuck up your brain in all the best ways. It's very much like Stephen Pressfield, War of Art. It's just like Stephen Pressfield, War of Art, where I'm convinced that those 2 books and Self-Management for Actors, of course, are going to put you in a really great state for the mindset of a creative career. And oh my God, I just had a sidebar real quick. Just had a major epiphany about something that I often teach from Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. And I always talk about page 86, page 86, page 86, and I teach about it. And yesterday in the hot tub up here in the mineral water, I said to Keith, I think I just figured out what Stephen Pressfield leaves out that I always have to go around a different way to explain to creatives. And when I shared it with him, he's like, yep, that's it. And so I don't know if that's another Bond blast or if it's going to be some topic for expansive capacity or what, but I clicked on why that way that Stephen Pressfield writes about separating yourself from your art doesn't work for actors in exactly the same way. Thank you, Lenka. Thank you, Aaron, for popping the links in here for Nick and for everybody else who's interested in those Gay Hendricks books. You eat tons of sugar. Claire, that's a big one. Sugar, alcohol, smoking, not sleeping, not working out, getting sick, obviously running late, a flat tire. And you're like, well, how is a flat tire an upper limit problem? A flat tire is an upper limit problem because someone who is in their own corner instead of in their own way, and someone who is on their own side rather than pushing against, and someone who is excited for the next tier opportunities to come is going to make sure the car has been maintained. The car's not going to run out of gas. The car's not going to have a flat tire. And if the car does have a flat tire, the person who doesn't have the upper limit problem has AAA and is leaving in enough time to get that call made and everything dealt with, so there's no snag in that future opportunity that's taking you to the next tier. So the bikes sound like Chewbacca, Lenka? That's funny. That's pretty good. I like it. Hey, Linda, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. All right, so you've identified that you potentially have some upper limit problems. You have places that you know you want to go and these little snags that try to get in your way, these gremlins that come up. You've now identified like what your key ones are, like which ones are most popular. I listed off just a minute ago, so roll it back if you missed that. You're going to be able to catch yourself early in the process now, which is where self-care comes in. If my self-care is on point, I am better at noticing an upper limit problem starting sooner. If my self-care is lacking, I don't know if it's an upper limit problem or just the symptom of not having taken care of myself as well as I know I should. So what I mean by that is self-care for me means eating Whole30. It means not drinking. It means sober coaching specifically for my not drinking. It may not mean that for you. You could still be like, I just know that drinking less is better for me, or drinking more water is something that I want to add into my life. It's working out. It's going to therapy. It's getting massages. It's taking breaks like this. What sort of things are a part of your self-care? Spending time with an animal. That's a big one. My therapist said, you got to get a puppy. And I'm like, I got to get a yard first and then I get a puppy. But by the way, this is a big yard. We buy the hacienda. I get multiple puppies and big ones. Like they don't have to be little because we're not in an apartment. Like this acre and a half. God. Okay. But I'm whispering because the GM arrived and I got to go talk to her and I don't want her to know how excited I am, because I got to talk business with her. All right. So on that, what sort of self-care items do you know are important for you to keep in check so that upper limit problems become easier to spot sooner. I'm not saying upper limit problems become a thing of the past. I'm not saying that there are people at Oprah's tier who don't have upper limit problems. Everybody has an upper limit problem at some point, because you go, wow, I never imagined I could be this successful. And then there's that new edge. And hitting that edge, this is one of my mentors called it that the other day. She said, oh, Bonnie, you're hitting your edge. That's why this feels the way it feels, because you're really good at hitting edges and moving beyond them. And now you're hitting another edge and you're like, ooh, but you know how to move past your edges. And so upper limit problem, same kind of terminology. Big Leap was on special on Kindle, so you got it. Excellent, Frank. I love that. Yes, Destiny, exactly. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yes, ma'am. You got it. You're pet sitting the whole holiday for others. Linda, I was having that conversation with Keith recently. I was like remembering back to the beginning of our relationship 17 plus years ago. Is that right? Yes, it'll be 18 years in April. Holy crap. And I was going, what did we do those first few Christmases? And I was always pet sitting, because I was, as an actor, when I was single before Keith, I always was babysitting animals. And so that meant I would move into a really nice house and take care of some really cool animals. And that would be my Christmas. So I never got in the habit of decorating for Christmas, because I was always going to be in somebody else's house that was decorated immaculately, like some mansion type kind of house with all the things. And just, so I was like, I'm going to hang out at Christmas over there. Why would I even do anything at home? Because I'm not going to be here for it. And so that habit just kind of stuck. And even as the pets that I was caring for over the years went to pet heaven, and I didn't obviously need to pet sit anymore, but I kept checking in and stopping by, and Keith and I would both do it a little bit for a couple of years at the beginning of our relationship, but over time it just became something that wasn't essential. I still realized that we never set up our own ritual for at home. And so we're like, well, we'll just do the hacienda, which we've done this for Christmas before. It's lovely. It's quiet, and everybody's like on their way from somewhere to somewhere, and then maybe hanging here for just like a little self-care check. So let's see, I'm a screenwriter, but find your advice valuable. Thank you, Linda. Books you recommend? Yeah, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, for every writer, for every creative. The two Gay Hendricks books that we've already talked about, for sure. But also just for writers in general, I think I've got a section of recommended books in the recommended reading list. If you go to the SMFA hot sheets, which Erin can pop the link in here for you, if you go to the SMFA hot sheets and you have to put in an email address and password to get access. So if you don't already have that, it'll ask you to sign up. But if you've got it, sign in. Take a look at the SMFA hot sheet for recommended reading. It's a bonus one, and it specifically has a section, I believe, of books for writers. So I'm glad that you find the self-management for actors advice helpful. I work with a lot of hyphenates, so I'm not surprised that it spills over. Yes, exactly, Lisa. Right on. Stephanie says, self-care for me is spending time in nature. Yeah, that's right. So for me, that's for sure. Spending time in nature, like going for a walk in a forest or even a park, meditation, drinking a special cup of tea before going to bed. I love all of that. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so you would know if you lacked on nature walks, or if you lacked in meditating, if you slacked off and got like behind on giving yourself that time before bed to get away from some screens and have some tea and just center yourself, or maybe journal. Like if you didn't do as much of that, your upper limit problems would become less easy to identify as upper limit problems. They would instead be something that you would go, oh, well, of course I'm running late because I haven't been meditating. And you would link those two together. And instead of it being I'm running late because I'm not meditating, it can be I'm meditating and I'm still running late. That means this is an upper limit problem. You see the difference? You see the distinction that you're able to make when you're engaged in all the self-care? Because that self-care for Lenka is yoga, reading, and nature. Those are common themes. I love these. In fact, nature was what we used for the Superpower Sunday in Expansive Capacity for the month of December. We're still in beta, so when you hear me talk about expansive capacity and you're like, I don't know what that is, you're kind of not supposed to yet. But if you are curious about it, go to expansivecapacity.com. It's my upper limit problem, mind, body, woo-woo mastermind. So if you're not into the woo, this might not be for you, but that's okay. We got regular masterminding if you need something like that, but not that exactly. But we talked about nature specifically for this month. I'm just checking my list to make sure that I've got everything before we start to do any kind of open Q&A. Oh, right, I got to make sure I mention that. Yes, of course. But for Lenka, knowing that yoga, reading, and nature being a big one that we just focused on for expansive capacity, if you notice, wow, I had a month where I wasn't able to get out in nature as much. Oh, wow, I had a few weeks where I had to skip yoga, or my instructor was out and I didn't like the other instructor, so I just didn't go because I thought I would do it at home and then I didn't really do it at home. You can start to notice, oh shit, on my self-care, there are going to be some upper limit problems that I'm not going to catch. And then you start fixing non-problems. And so if instead you can catch that the self-care is lacking, you can go, great, let me prevent against the upper limit problems showing up. Keeping negative self-loving distance. Linda, reach. Where am I? Thousands of miles away from anyone I'm related to. There's a reason for that. Yes, ma'am. For some people, a safe distance is literally thousands of miles. For other people, it's boundary. But my actual in the room boundaries were mushy. They were leaky, mushy boundaries, especially where family's concerned. Because I'm a good Southern girl, so of course you got to love everybody and not talk about anything that's wrong. Okay. I was like, damn, waspy family I grew up in. We got to like never talk about any of our problems. And if you talk about your problems, you're a victim and you're a whiny and you're dramatic. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, I just poured vodka on it for 30 years. Okay. Claire says, I definitely get resentful of having to go back to the day job post an acting gig. It gets me very down. I struggle to reframe my thinking regarding that day. That reframing that thinking is really the work. Oh, I'm so happy that I have this day job to go to for the times between, to remind me I don't want much time between. Like, I'm so grateful for this reminder of where I'm headed and how much better it feels there. Let me see if I can get to that same good feeling place here, because I know what's coming. And really, that's an Abraham Hicks construct, of course, but really getting into a place where you can start to see it from a place of appreciation, because you can't get to the more joy-filled place if you're spending a lot of energy drained and resentful at all. But I mean, you're going to have some, that's contrast. You're going to have some like, ugh, I don't want to be in this place. But then to pair that with, and I'm just came from this wonderful acting gig to show me what it is that I'm heading. Much I really love that. Heather says, self-care for me, meditating, working out, eating for nutrition, napping, reading, research, all of this. Yes. Taking off my makeup carefully with quality. Yes, I do. Oh, my makeup looks so good tonight. I need makeup in the morning. So, and then I'm going to take my shower later in the day. You know what? I'm just going to leave it tonight. And I'm like, who are you kidding? It's also because I'm just lazy and I'm like, who wants to keep putting on makeup? Like, this is a lot. I did this because I knew I was, if I were sitting here in front of whoever's here today, like this would, no, but this is for you. This is for you. And this is what? Eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara. Did I put on any lip stuff? A little bit on this. Oh my gosh, because the mineral waters like pull up everything that your skin is trying to detox and your entire body. Amazing. I love the mineral water so much. But anyway, yes, I get that for being a part of this. No makeup thing for you. Yes, as well. Good, good, good. Very true. Yes. Reassuring yourself that it's a temporary thing. That's the work sometimes. So here's what I would advise for everyone who wants to get out ahead of those upper limit problems. The steps are: identify what your upper limit problems are. What are those things that you kick yourself for later because you're like, how did this get in my life? How, like, I am at this, like, let's go back to the experience that we were talking about, the director's read that you mentioned up top. Thank you so much for sharing that story in the comments before. The directors showing up hungover and like incapable of doing their jobs. If that were you, and you would later go, oh my God, what an asshole I was. I can't believe that I shot myself in the foot with all those people, because they're only going to, that's that first impression. They're only going to see me that way. Okay. You know, then you go, wait, hang on. So what is the upper limit problem for me? Probably that behavior right there. I didn't identify an upper limit problem, but what if it is? What if it's because meeting with people and doing my best work in front of folks that are influential or may have relationships that are helpful for me down the line presents me with the opportunity do scarier things and have that Oprah phone call. And I am nervous about that. And since I'm nervous about my abilities, I will have an upper limit problem keep me from being in that dangerous place. So that's one. The second thing that you're to do after you've identified a few of your upper limit problem typical manifestations, losing your keys or eating lots of sugar or isolating or whatever kinds of things that you've identified a problem. When you start seeing those things coming up in yourself, the second thing to do with this is to make a list of all the self-care that when it is in great shape, all of that other stuff doesn't get so out of balance. Okay, so the first step is identifying the upper limit problems. The second step is identifying the self-care. And then your work is to have a checklist of how am I doing with my self-care so that it doesn't get far off kilter enough to trigger one of your upper limit problems. All right? Yeah. Cool. Does that feel doable? Does anybody have, while I'm opening this up for questions, does anybody have any questions about getting gear for the new year? If time, or even if it's not your first time, do you have any questions that I can help you out with for getting gear for the new year? I will be doing another live broadcast like this, but an hour earlier. It's at noon Pacific on Wednesday, the 26th. And we will have just left here. So yeah, I think that's how the time. We could have done it from here, but then that puts a little late getting back for some code that I have to do that afternoon. So it is it coaching or is it masterminding? I think it's masterminding. Anyway, yes, I have masterminding on the 26th with my entrepreneur group. It's our last of the year. Dun, 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 dun. So we'll do another Facebook Live for obviously questions that are coming up as you are rounding out getting gear for the new year. And I think we're also doing one next Sunday, the 30th. Could you repeat the last part? The line broke a bit. The last part of what? Please. I'm happy to repeat if you can tell me how it started. I said a lot of things. There's a scholarship for getting gear for the next year. Did y'all get that email? I'm assuming you may have gotten that email. That is partly why y'all here. Oh, thank you, Erin. The link for the events has just been popped in the comments. If you check that out, that will let you know. I'm going to actually pin that comment. No, do I want to pin that comment? Yeah, I'm going to pin that comment. There, pin. Now that one is pinned to the top. Time for getting gear. Is it too late? Lisa, no. Go to bonniegillespie.com/ right now, and at midnight you will receive day one, midnight Pacific. You'll just be a couple days behind. Not too late. We redesigned the program this year so that you could do it beyond just this time of year. Elisa, for the word cloud, should we include other words that were added outside of the survey word list? What else would you add? I got a few mothers wondering if I should add those up in the word cloud. Or what about other celebrities they say you remind me of? Would adding a celebrity to the word cloud skew the data for gathering recommended genre, show, film, etc.? Okay, Alyssa, what I would do is mothers, yes, celebrities, no. Okay, because if people felt strongly enough to write things in the anything else I should know box, that's awesome. You want to use that data, obviously. The celebrities, what I would do is make a separate list of just the celebrities' names and then go through and write a breakdown for each of those celebrities. So this is extra work outside of the day 3 work for getting gear for the new year. I would actually create a list of those celebrities, write up breakdowns for those celebrities. And if you have trouble with that, Google those celebrities' names and include words like essence or quality or adjectives or description. And then you'll get, just without even going on any page, you'll just get the Google preview for dozens of pages for that celebrity that you should then grab whatever adjectives you see there and make that how you do the character breakdown or the person breakdown for each of these celebrities. But don't bring those into your word cloud. What you want to do is find out what descriptive words are being used consistently about those people that also show up in your word cloud, in your data gathering, because it's where those overlap that people are getting these qualities. And you run into trouble if you use a celebrity as a part of your brand. The last part was identify your self-care. Stephanie, yes, for the first part, you want to do your identifying your upper limit problems. Like, what's your go-to? Is it sleeping in? Is it not getting sleep? Is it isolating? Is it getting hungover or getting drunk? Is it losing your keys? Like what is your upper limit problem manifestation? Like what is the symptom that you end up seeing the most? I used the example of the sore throat for me. The second one is identify your self-care. Like what are the self-care items that when they're running right, when they're in check, like the rest of it stays really, really balanced. And then what you're going to do is strategize when you're dipping on self-care, your ability to take a look at those upper limit problems and deal with the fear rather than the symptom, because that underlying fear that's causing the upper limit problem is what actually needs your attention. And then by giving it attention, it will heal the thing that caused the upper limit problem in the first place, or at least the symptom of the upper limit problem. That is the work. Great, cool. And Claire says, in terms of writing to a perspective next to your agents, do people include references with directors you've worked with? You can. Claire, we're going to do a day in Getting Gear for the New Year here in the next couple of days that is about your cover letter. So this would be a great question to ask in the comments at the Facebook group on that day specifically. But just to give you a heads up on that, there's no one right way to do a cover letter. I include some specifics in the writing about yourself day of Getting Gear for the New Year, with lots of resources that you should go follow those links and go down the Bonnie Gillespie rabbit hole to all the other things that I link to, so that you can get a sense of what in general the best practices are. But you can include references from directors you've worked with if your targeting homework has shown that these agents that you're targeting specifically respond well to those people that you're now putting the letter in front of. Because if you can't find any place that shows them intersecting or that agent regularly casting actors in that director's stuff, or having cast actors who've been cast by that director in more recent stuff or other stuff, you may be saying, hey, I've got a really great reference from this guy over here, and this agent's like, I don't give a shit about this guy. So you want to make sure that it's actually a commodity and not just a director saying you're good. Because if it's a director that the agent's like, I don't care about that person, then it didn't help you and it distracted them from things that maybe they would have liked about your submission otherwise. Rachel says, I'm thinking of working with LA Reel House for acting clips demo reel. Do you think working with a company is more beneficial than shooting a self-tape acting clip? Rachel, what I get nervous about with any of those facilities is if you're hiring them to also do the writing for you. A lot of times they'll say they're giving you an original scene and they're not. And this is just the stats of it, y'all. Facilities like this are selling to actors, and they're not assuming actors are going around watching hundreds, if not thousands, of demo reel clips and pieces of footage. But do you know who's watching a whole bunch of actor demo reel footage? Me. So I now know which scripts have been done by 20 different actors, and I only have to see it being done by 2 or 3 different actors to know, oh, you bought this scene. You bought the scene, and oh, look, you're in that set, which I recognize that set because it's the same set that everybody buys when they get that company to do their reel. And oh, look, your co-star is an actor who I know works at that facility because I've seen that actor on 20 different reels. And so that's the kind of thing that then gets in our head rather than watching your acting. Also, typically they will produce something in which you get massive amounts of coverage and you have tons of lines. And at your tier, that may not be helpful. Like, I don't actually need to know that you could have a monologue the length of a Meryl Streep sonnet and all that coverage of like a full 30 seconds on nobody but you. If your tier is, I need to be doing a co-star and I need to be asking, can I get you anything else as, you know, waitress number 2. And so you're actually creating something on your reel that isn't that helpful. So those are my cautions about that. Keith does writing service for ninjas. And so if you want to explore that, talk to Keith Johnson. He's usually out and around on Facebook, but you can also find him through our web environment. He does like custom scripts and scenes for ninjas, so that at least if you go to one of those facilities to use their equipment and their resources and their personnel and their locations, you come with your own material that you know is 100% original. And so that would be my caution on that. And yes, in general, I want actors to be creating their own content instead of going to a facility, simply because the act of becoming a content creator changes your relationship with other content creators. It makes you a confident actor because you know exactly what content creators are going through, and it makes it easier for you to communicate with them on a professional level. And so there are so many benefits to creating your own content that I would always recommend that. And there are groups of people who you can jam with. If you're like, oh, but I'm not a writer, great, somebody else is. And you're like, well, I don't know how to do sound. That's okay, somebody else does, but pay your sound person. Always pay your sound person. Have good craft services and pay your sound person. That is the minimum for anything that you're self-producing. Cool, Claire. Okay, great. Excellent. But anyway, Rachel, just so you know, we'll be doing footage. There's a footage day coming up. Is it tomorrow? No, I think we're doing resumes tomorrow. No, I don't. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. I don't know what day is next. My team knows. My team knows. But I am now already flashed forward into so many things that I'm creating for expansive capacity. And we're going to sell a new Ninja calendar. We're going to have the SMFA calendar that you're going to be able to buy so that you could plot out your month ahead based on the industry calendar, like what's going on in the industry, obviously film festivals and deadlines and things like that, but also from a cosmic perspective. So this is also for the woo-woo crew. It's going to have like parts of it that will tell you that on this day, this is a Virgo moon, so you need to do Virgo things. Like this is when you're going to get shit done and knock out some details. Yes, of course, Rachel, it's absolutely my pleasure. But so I'm in like product mode for those things during this specific period of time that we're in. Any last questions before I wrap up, y'all? I will show you. That's what I will do. I will end on showing you this pretty space. Let's hope I don't leave the Wi-Fi too completely, because I also need to be standing up. I've been sitting too long and that hurts, and I'm not supposed to be sitting till it hurts. Okay. So that's part of my self-care. All right, so cafe. All right, this is where I've been sitting. Oh, by the way, those of you who have been part of the escape before, you know, I belong here is one of the mantras. Look at this sign over the stove. What? It's not like they knew I was coming and put it there. It's just there. Okay, let's hope it stays on Wi-Fi. Let's hope. Okay, why not? How you like my house? Can I take a dip with me? Oh, I hear some birds. And this is where Day and Blair like to climb the tree and sit in the bench when they come to the escape. And now I should have brought my sunglasses. You stay up there. That's the hot tub up there. And back behind me over this way is the Mineral Springs well. Comes up at 160 degrees. And then they cool it to put it in the pool and the hot tub. So anyway, welcome to the hacienda. All right, you beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I know, isn't it great? You know, we love it. We love it here. Can't wait to buy it. Then, oh my gosh, we'll hold classes down there in the gazebo. What do you think? Like that? Can you see the gazebo down there at the end of the property? Or just over here around the table, where I always like to be. This is where most of Self-Management for Actors, most recent edition, has been written, by the way. This was my studio. This is where I was sitting, also me, very sophisticated. Yeah, I wrote a lot of the 4th edition of Self-Management for Actors right here. Love you, beautiful people. All right, I will see you in the Facebook group. Make sure you enter the scholarship for getting gear for the next tier. You just post a picture of you holding a photo. More information about that is in the email that you got from me about 15 hours ago. So if you are not finding that, do all the steps to get it out of your spam filter or whatever, because I let you know we're letting people in for free into getting gear for the next year, which is our, of course, life-changing 100-day challenge. Cannot wait to see you there. Awesome. Thanks, Rex. Thanks, Kim. Yes, of course. Join me here. Come the escape for March. We've already set the dates. It's going to be the last weekend, Thursday to Sunday in March, the 28th to the 31st, 2019. We will be around this table most of the hours that we are not in that water doing magical things. SMFA Escape. The application's at my website, so feel free to head over there. All right, cool. Thanks, you beautiful people. Good, Rachel, take a picture of you holding up a copy of my book to enter the scholarship contest. All right, love you, beautiful people. Stay ninja. Mwah.